Off-grid living is not a fantasy. You guys have got to stop buying land you can't afford. I think the number one reason people fail at starting their off-grid homestead is buying land they can't afford, buying too much land that they can't even maintain, and you don't need to buy what would be called or considered crappy land necessarily, like I did. You could just buy land that fits within your means. Whether that means buying the nicest land available but only getting 1 acre of it, or buying more moderate land and getting 5 acres of it. One of the very best things I did was buy land that fit within my means. I paid cash for it. One payment and it was done. It freed up so much money, and I didn't buy so much land that I couldn't use the land. That means that I was able to fence my entire perimeter of my land and another fence around my homestead. And just like everything else, I go back in passes. In fact, I'm just about to put in 8x8 posts, almost 3 feet deep, every 10 feet around the entire perimeter of my homestead. And I can afford that because I bought land that fell within my means. It allowed me to build infrastructure. It freed up money and cash flow, you see, so that I could build infrastructure for shelter, water, food, power, income. It allowed me to pay to build my shop, which I could then put a solar system on, which then I could harvest rainwater and store food and needs and tools inside. I think, and well, it's pretty obvious that most people think of a fantasy when they think of off-grid living. And at the end of the day, you actually still live in reality. You still have to pay property tax. If you run a business, you still got to pay business for your, or business taxes. You got to file your taxes, you still have to pay for things. There's still rules. It's not a fantasy. And so bite off a chunk that you can chew. Makes a lot of sense. You don't need to look like you're the flashiest guy out the gate. You can let people think that you're poor. Let people think that you're struggling. Just allow people to do what they do and focus on what you're doing. And after a few years, your infrastructure will be in place. You won't be paying mortgage the whole time. You'll be offsetting your cost for food and whatnot. Then you'll start to have a margin. Things will get easier. It's the opposite of the way that most people approach it. And that's why I've seen many, many people buy a pretty large chunk of land, try to set up something real flashy right out the gate, and pretty quickly they fell because there's just not enough money to support everything that's not within your means. There's land all over the United States. I don't know why so many people think that land is so limited and that it's so impossible to build a lifestyle that meets your needs. But in all reality, there's lots and lots of land out there. There's lots of affordable land. Just about anybody can save up a little bit of cash and buy a piece of land that fits their means. I think, I constantly hear people say, this is impossible, it's impossible. But I think that it's because they immediately go to 150 acres of land that's just supreme with a river running through it. And then they wonder why they can't afford that. But that's the piece of land that the guy with the helicopter landing pad gets. And you're not him, and that's okay. That guy that has the helicopter, he probably started on a piece of land that he could afford and worked his way up. If you're just completely lost in this entire process, check out all the free resources on my website. I have a free off-grid county directory for friendly counties. And I've already got about 20 states up there with 4 counties per. And I'll keep going back in passes until I get all 50 states and as many counties as necessary to get all of the friendliest ones up there. These are real, by the way. These are legitimate county links and whatnot. So it's not guessing. We're not pretending. It's not fantasy. You go directly to the county to find out the exact rules and whatnot, not just some sort of forum where someone said something worked or whatnot. I did a lot of research to find the best counties, so that's free up there if you're looking for a county. And then I've got my land locator tool, and it's pretty unique. There's just nothing like it, and it'll really help you find land no matter where you are. People in Australia and Germany are using it and getting good results. Those are free resources. I got a free guide up there too, guys. And it'll tell you everything that you need to know to get started, and hopefully this video rubs off and you live within your means, you start within your means, and I'll see you out the other end of it when you're a success.